Hi, it's Jimmy Nguyen, and welcome to the Bitcoin Vision, where we provide you updates for the Bitcoin SV cryptocurrency and ecosystem. Bitcoin SV is rebirth of the original Bitcoin, the only Bitcoin project dedicated to fulfill the Satoshi Vision. So in honor of Satoshi Nakamoto, it's fitting we come to you this episode from Japan, Yokohama City, at the 2019 Japan Blockchain Conference. So much has happened with Bitcoin SV over the past week, so watch this episode to learn about Bitcoin SV scaling test network results, op return, and the power of no limits on data size, and Dr. Craig Wright's latest Bitcoin vision, putting IP on the blockchain. So stay tuned and learn more about how Bitcoin SV is becoming the world's new money and enterprise blockchain. You know I like big blocks, and I cannot lie, so let's talk results of the scaling test network for Bitcoin SV. Bitcoin SV node lead developer Daniel Connolly posted a blog summary of scaling test results. Because the node team recognizes that even though there have been large blocks mined on the Bitcoin SV network of 64, 65, and even 103 megabytes, it is critical to demonstrate the network can have sustained large block capacity. We're able to demonstrate 24 hours of sustained 64 megabyte and even higher blocks approaching 100 megabytes and up. More work has to be done to improve the scaling capacity of the Bitcoin SV network, but it's well on its way to demonstrating the true Satoshi Vision. What happens if there are no limits on the Bitcoin blockchain? We started to find out what that means for op return and not having any limits on the data size that could be embedded in an op return field. Unlike Bitcoin Core with a limit of 80 bytes and Bitcoin Cash with a limit of 220 bytes, Bitcoin SV's op return field has no data size limit, thanks to work done by Steve Shatters, technical director of the Bitcoin SV node team. He discovered a way to essentially have miners allow the limit to be lifted entirely without a consensus protocol change. It means that Bitcoin SV has become the world's new data storage and data carrier network. Big enterprises all over the world can explore new business models with this powerful way to store and transmit data in Bitcoin transactions. That has led very quickly, within just a week, to a rapid Cambrian explosion of developers and new applications and uses for inserting data into the op return field. Andrew Nju is one person that has done this remarkably. Mysterious Bitcoin developer Wright described Andrew as the guy who puts everything on the blockchain. And Andrew, you deserve our special Satoshi shout out this week for embedding all kinds of media content onto the BSV blockchain using op return. That includes even putting a clock on the blockchain and a music file with a brilliantly wonderful choice of classical music. Speaking of data size you can embed on the blockchain, Memo.cash, the popular social media platform powered on the blockchain, announced that it's allowing transactions up to 65 kilobytes that makes it suitable for uploading entire image files onto the BSV blockchain. And speaking of Memo, Poster.cash is a memo client powered by Babel. It allows you to search and browse through content on the platform in a user-friendly and organized manner. Its creator, Petr Mitchev, recently shared on Twitter, moving to Babel, faster loading time. You can now filter the content you see and moving to Bitcoin original address as default address. Some interesting developments with the power of Bitcoin SV. And if you want to talk about really big data storage on Bitcoin SV, turn to bitcoinfiles.org. It is created by the team behind the social media platform Matter, and it's also powered by the Bitcoin SV blockchain. Bitcoinfiles.org offers users the ability to access files, images, and all forms of content through storage on the BSV chain. And of course, we have to talk about Wright, the mysterious Bitcoin developer who continues to amaze with a prolific range of developer tools, applications, and services for Bitcoin SV. Some of Wright's latest are Bitcom, described as the first P2P protocol registry for applications hosted on the blockchain. It takes advantage of the different protocols and their prefixes, and its aim is to help developers coordinate in establishing protocol standards. which can then be drawn from the universal computer it provides. Wright also released the very simply named B, Bitcoin Simple Storage and URI Protocol, if you want to get more specific. According to Wright, the protocol itself is an op-return protocol using a prefix generated using Bitcom. The most important part of this protocol is that it's proposing a way to reference other unique on-chain resources stored on Bitcoin using the transaction hash as the URI. And then there's Button Page. Button Page is a tool which allows a user's money button, one of our favorite other applications, to be stripped into its different parts and modified according to personal needs in a simple and immediate way. It simply makes money button even easier to use for any website or application. And then there's BitPipe from Wright. It's a simple yet powerful Bitcoin transaction broadcast microservice powered by DataPay. The unique thing about BitPipe is that it lets you accept unsigned transactions and lets you pay for them and therefore give your users free transactions. So now that we've heard about what's happening in the outside Bitcoin SV ecosystem, we're back in the Japan Blockchain Conference exhibit hall so I can share with you the Wright Vision, the latest Bitcoin vision from Dr. Craig S. Wright, nChain's chief scientist. He's been writing a weekly series on his Medium account in which he describes exciting new applications and usages of the nChain intellectual property for the Bitcoin SV blockchain. His latest post is entitled Storing IP on the Blockchain, and he describes various solutions for how you could use the Bitcoin SV chain to increase the efficiency and management of intellectual property for creators. So for example, you could have smart contracts that are coded to allow the creator and a user of intellectual property to transact more automatically and efficiently for payments, as well as tracking the reproduction of the intellectual property, such as a piece of copyrighted software or a book, a script, a paper. In addition, he describes the possibility for using Bitcoin SV for micropayments so that users make small payments in order to access the intellectual property and may make another small micropayment each time they make a use of that intellectual property. Those are just some examples of the Wright Vision. New ways for using the Bitcoin blockchain using intellectual property from nChain, only powered for Bitcoin SV. So those are just some of the exciting developments happening so rapidly in the Bitcoin SV ecosystem. Join us on this journey as we build the world's new money and enterprise blockchain with Bitcoin SV. And if you get a chance, get yourself to Japan, home of some amazing technology development, excitement for Bitcoin, and more importantly, home of the spirit of Satoshi. This is Jimmy Nguyen, and this is the Bitcoin Vision.